Comedian Paul Rodriguez has kept audiences laughing for years with his unique sense of humor about the Latino experience. Now he's revealing a more serious side and for the first time opening up about the tragic event that changed him and his family forever.
I'm Paul Rodriguez. I'm a stand-up comic. I've been in a lot of movies.
Mom, have you tried praying in English? Because all your prayers in Spanish, I don't think God speaks Spanish, Mom. He's not answered one.
I was born in Culiacan, Sinaloa. Our diet was basically beans and flour tortillas and meat. I've had a wonderful life, health-wise, but it's not been the case with my family. The worst was my little sister, Ophelia. She suffered her whole life from diabetes. And her diabetes progressively became bad because to tell a Mexican not to eat tortillas is probably the worst punishment ever. I couldn't do it. Our food is delicious and it's wonderful, but it's designed to kill us early. She was in and out of hospitals her whole life. She suffered so much that towards the end, parts of her body began to atrophy. She was always having epileptic seizures on top of that. And yet she somehow was able to always put a smile for me. Her suffering was so bad that when she passed away, I was happy for her. I'm glad she's not in pain anymore. My God. I remember my dad grew bananas. She took the best banana. She asked me to eat it, to describe to her what it tastes like. And I said, oh, they're terrible. You're not missing anything. Imagine not to enjoy sugar, not to have an ice cream. Next time you eat your favorite meal, understand what a pleasure and a privilege that is. And savor every bite. You know that saying, as long as you have your health. Man, how true that is. I'm gonna go have a nice 2 scoops for my sister Ophelia.
Everyone, please welcome comedian Paul Rodriguez to the show. Paul, clearly so much love for your sister.
She did. She suffered. I mean, she didn't really have a good day. You know, I remember she telling me that the worst day I could have would have been her best day. You know, she was always bedridden, and it was just a torturous life. You know, and it was always a very difficult life, and I've always felt guilty that I've been rather healthy, very healthy, really, and she didn't enjoy that. You know, she didn't have that.
Well, and a lot of people will hear the words type 2 diabetes or diabetes, and we'll sit here and talk about how it's high blood sugar, and it's just this abstract concept. Your sister lived it, and people watching understand that it can lead to limb amputations, blindness, kidney failure, heart attacks, strokes, and in her case, clearly, you mentioned being bedridden. So for you, you've learned a lot about it through her experience. Well,
yes, and of course, you know, Latinos suffer disproportionately from diabetes. I've learned a lot about that, and it's the diet, the things that we eat, you know, and we enjoy very sugary things, and but that has a price, you know, it has a price, and she was always checking her blood, and a lot of times, I mean, towards the end of her life, there was ambulances coming over the house 2 times, 3 times a week, you know, and it got to the point where she just stayed at the hospital, and we tried to visit her, but it was very, very hard. All our brothers and sisters that I have, we all would try to take turns, and I always felt guilty that I'd go, you know, months without seeing her, you know, but she was always cheerful on the phone. I'd call her up, and she goes, oh, it's nothing, you know, I'll be over this, you know. She had a strong, abiding faith in God, and I think that helped her. But what got her through, what really amazed me about her is her sense of humor. You know, she'd see me on The Tonight Show, or she'd see me on other shows, and she was my biggest fan. You know, she'd go over my act, and she'd write jokes for me, and so some of them weren't bad. You know, you know, she'd always warn me. She goes, "Oh, you're too dirty. You know, you don't need to use those words." And you know, and it did tailor me. It made me. Her opinion of me meant a lot, you know. I'm sure. And when she was gone, it was her funeral was a celebration, you know. All of us got together and we said finally that her suffering was ended. We grew up in Compton. My father immigrated. We lived in Compton, and that community, you know, our neighbors they were from the South, you know, from Louisiana, and they eat really spicy food like we did, so we got along great, you know. Yeah, so.
I'm from Louisiana, so I am.
know,
Yeah.
Le Bon Temps Roulé. You know, we were. It was amazing. It was a fusion of Cajun cooking and Mexican refried beans. I mean, all of us.
That does not sound healthy. Let me just say.